can go whenever you're ready.
Austin, how do I change it? Let's see. Okay. I can just run it straight from the USB drive, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And you know how to get to the slideshow, right?
Yes. Hi, everybody. Okay. I am very proud of my heritage. Most of my family descends from European countries like Germany, Switzerland, and Ireland. With this mix, by the time I was born, I was 2/3 the way to the bar. I would like to tell you about my favorite way to celebrate my Irish and German heritage. You know what I'm talking about. Drinking. Alcohol, depending on personal and religious preferences, is usually a staple at most social events like weddings, parties, sporting events, and concerts, just to name a few. So you will no doubt be around it at some point in time in your life. So today I'd like to share some interesting facts about alcohol, how it works, bartending techniques, and introduce you to flair bartending. There's plenty of misinformation out there about drinking. Let me start by explaining what alcohol is, how it works, and some of its effects. The consumption of alcoholic beverages is a widespread social phenomenon in which people ingest a chemical known as ethyl alcohol or ethanol. And yes, that's the same stuff you could run your car engine on. It is created by the process of fermentation, where you mix sugar with yeast, and alcohol is a byproduct of those two things. So most alcohol is consumed in very, very diluted proportions because it is poisonous and it is even deadly, if pure in its straight form. Beer is generally 4 to 6%, wine is 7 to 15%, and most distilled spirits are 40 to 90% on the high end. That's very strong. When a person drinks an alcoholic beverage, about 20% of the alcohol is absorbed through the stomach, and 80% is usually through the small intestines. With how fast it is absorbed in the body depends on several things. The concentration of alcohol in the beverage, the type of drink, the amount of food in your stomach, and actually the sex. Women have less of a particular digestive enzyme that serves to metabolize the alcohol before it is introduced into the bloodstream. Interesting stuff. Alcohol acts primarily on the nerve cells within the brain. Alcohol interferes with the communication between nerve cells and other cells, suppressing the activities of excitatory nerve pathways and increasing the activities of inhibitory nerve pathways. So it kind of makes you move in slow motion. Observed effects of alcohol vary with blood alcohol content, or BAC. It's in different stages. So the first stage is euphoria, which is all good at this point. People become self-confident and daring. Their attention span shortens. Their judgment is not as good. The second stage is excitement. They have trouble understanding and remembering things or even recent events. Their body movements are uncoordinated. They begin losing their balance. The third stage is confusion. They are very confused. They might not know what they're doing or where they're at. They cannot see clearly. They are very sleepy. Next stage is a stupor. They can barely move at all. They cannot respond to stimuli. They cannot stand or walk. That's when the toilet is your best friend. The next would be a coma, which is very serious. The heart rate slows. They begin to cool down in temperature. And finally, death. Afterwards, dangerous stuff. Somewhere in the middle of all that, some people believe they look better, sing better, and think they are tougher than Chuck Norris. So with that being said, let me show you some mixing techniques. Although I really don't drink that much myself, occasionally, I definitely enjoy the art of mixology. I make some really excellent drinks, and every time there's a get-together, I'm the first person to tempt you into making a bad decision. I actually took a 2-week course on bartending. It was really cool and very informative. So let me share some of my techniques with you. According to my professional mixology textbook, there are many different types of drinks. Here's a few. Oh, I skipped this. Let's see. Okay, we'll skip that. So martinis and Manhattans, shooters, tall drinks, highballs, 2-ounce cocktails, sours, margaritas, beers and wines, wine cocktails, mocktails, just to name a few. I prefer to make mixed drinks myself. Here's my stuff. I'll explain a few of these to you. So this long red spoon is called a bar spoon. It's not a very ingenious name, but you take a shot glass, and you generally have a bottle attached to this. You take a shot glass, which is all the way at the bottom, and you layer shots with it. It looks really cool if it's done right. Different types of alcohol have different weights to them. So you would take it and you would use this spoon, and you pour the first type of alcohol in there, and then the second one, you dribble it down the back side of the spoon, and it spins around, and then it floats if done correctly. I don't think they have any in there, but they're layered and they're really cool. And then, of course, you can light them on fire and all types of cool stuff. This is the most impressive part. It makes you automatically look like you know what you're doing. So you fill this bad boy with ice and different mixture of alcohol and mixer and stuff, and you put it on the top and you shake it like that, and everyone says, ooh, it's cool, and people so it's cool. So that's a few tools. Let's see, and also, if by mixing the drinks yourself, you have more control over it, and a big problem that most people have is they over pour their drinks and get their guests completely into the stupor stage or beyond, and it's not really fun for anyone. So you get to control and kind of cut people down, because the more you drink, the less you taste, so you can kind of cut them down to next to nothing, and they think they're having a great time and they're on top of the world. So with that being said, let me tell you about some interesting facts about going out to the bar. So most bars have a bar top, and behind it they have what's called a well, where all the bottles are kept, and they have ice bins and things like that. So generally avoid well drinks if at all possible. Well drinks are the cheapest, nastiest, most bang for your dollar items there, and you will definitely pay for it the next day. So pony up the extra $1 or $2 and get nice top shelf stuff, because you will thank me the next day. So also garnishes are important. You can have an easy garnish to make is a cherry. An orange with a cherry on top is called a flag, and you can just about put that in any drink you want, and it automatically looks fancy, and you can generate tips if you're a bartender like that. Different rims, like a margarita salt rim, and cool stuff like that. So not only is bartending a fantastic way to impress your friends and family, it's an excellent way to make a living. Lots of money to be made in getting people drunk. Now let me tell you about flair bartending, which is this. So according to the Flair Bartenders Association, flair is a style of bartending that has existed for at least 150 years. Fabled American bartending legend Jerry the Professor Thomas performed flair in the mid-1800s, whenever he made his famous blue blazer, pouring flaming scotch and water from mug to mug in a long fiery stream, like this. And fire, impressive. So I'm sure he made a lot of money doing that too. Technically speaking, flair is the act of flipping, spinning, throwing, balancing, catching bottles, drinks, and various bar tools while in the process of making cocktails. I'm not that good, and I would spray stuff everywhere, so I will spare you guys that. Although very difficult to master, it should be very easy to find your audience for practice, and it will be hard to mess up because your audience is drunk. Today, I informed you of some interesting facts about alcohol and how it works, the art of serving, breathing fire on people, and I finished by introducing you to flair bartending. When done responsibly and correctly, bartending as a side job, career, or even just a hobby can be very rewarding.